All right, well. Math A people, you showed up again. Nice. So here we go. We're going to do lesson 1-5. We're going to add another step to our equation solving. So balancing is what this step is called. And it basically means you're going to balance if you've got your equation here, you got this side of the equation, it's got an x value or a variable of some sort. And then the other side also has a variable. We don't want that. We won't want variables on both sides of the equation because the whole goal is to get the variable by itself. If you've got equations on both sides of the equation, you can't get them by themselves. So what we're going to do is before we use our two-step equations, we're going to balance the equation by just using the addition property or the subtraction property of equality and then getting our variables to both sides. Let's see how that looks. So here's problem number 1. We're going to balance first and then use our properties of equality. Now, technically, balancing is a property of equality. We're going to use the addition or the subtraction property of equality. Now, personally, I like to move my x's or my variables all onto the same side. I always move them to this side. You don't have to. You can move it to the other side, but I just do it the same way every single time. Okay, so I'm going to start by using the subtraction property of equality. I've got positive 6x. I want to do the inverse of positive 6, which would be negative 6. So that allows me to use the subtraction property of equality and subtract 6x from both sides. This is called balancing because I've balanced it out so that there's no variables on this side. They have canceled out. What are we left with over here on the left? We've got 24. 5 minus 6, we subtract the numbers, we keep the negative sign because 6 is bigger. So we get 24 minus x equals 2. So we balanced it because now we only have one variable on this side of the equation. The variables are now together over here. And I use the subtraction property equality. Sometimes you'll use the addition property equality. And now we're down to our two steps. Add or subtract a number to both sides, and then followed up by multiplying or dividing a number to both sides. So we can do addition and subtraction. This is positive 24. So I'm going to subtract 24 from both sides. All right, that leaves me with these canceling. I get negative x equals negative 22. Remember that negative is not just a negative, it's a negative 1. So we've got a 1 over there. So this is negative 1 times x. So now I'm going to use the division property of equality and divide both sides by negative 1. Okay, so these reduce and make a 1 over there. So that's 1x or just x. Over here, we've got 22 divided by 1. That's still 22. But then a negative divided by negative is a positive. So our final answer is 22. Done. All right, so if you're working on this in class, if you're, people in Mrs. Abbott's class right now. So what you guys can do is we're going to go ahead and pause here, and you guys are going to try number 2 and number 3. And if you're feeling super saucy, you can move on to 4, 5, and 6. But just do 2 and 3. Get there as far as you can. All right, so pause it. All right, now I'm going to show you how I did it. Here we go. Draw the line down the middle because we're good Americans and that's what we do. Next, we're going to balance. I've got A's here and A's here. I don't like that. I'm going to move the A's by using the subtraction property of equality. Subtracting 4A from both sides. Done. Negative 3A minus 4A gives us negative 7A. Both negatives, we add the numbers, keep the negative sign. Other side. A's cancel. I'm left with negative 6. So we've balanced it. Our A's are one side of the equation, and now we can do our two-step equation. Add or subtract first, multiply or divide second. We subtract 8 from both sides. First step. That leaves us with negative 7A. The 8's cancel. Equals negative 6 minus 8. Add the numbers, keep the negative sign. Negative 14. Last step, we divide by negative 7. We had multiplication, so the inverse operation is division. We're left with a equals negative 14 divided by negative 7. 7 goes in there twice, and it's positive because a negative divided by a negative is a positive. That's delicious. Next one. All right, so we're going to subtract d from both sides. Sounds good. So this is negative 5 and negative 1 here. So this is negative 5 minus 1. That's negative 6 d's. And then 29 over here. Over here, we're going to subtract 17 from both sides. Using our subtraction property of equality. I get negative 6d equals 29 minus 17. I think that's 12. Division property. Divide by negative 6 on both sides. These reduce and make 1. 12 divided by negative 6 is negative 2. A positive divided by a negative is a negative. All right, this side. It's going to get interesting. All right, let's see if you can dig this chili that we're cooking up here. All right, so we're going to draw a line down. We're going to subtract 4t from both sides. I'm doing a lot of subtracting. I'm going to add this one. Okay. Anyways, where was I? We're going to subtract 4t from both sides because we're good people. All right, we're showing our work. Again, because we're good people. All right, these cancel. On this side, I get 4 minus 16t equals 52. Remember, this is a positive 4 out front. So now I'm to my addition property and subtraction property of equality. I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. What do we got? We've got negative 16t equals 52 minus 4 is 48. We'll go ahead and divide by negative 16. Oh yeah, that's good stuff. T equals, those make 1. 48, 16 does go into 48. Goes in there 3 times, but it's going to be negative 3 because it's a positive. Divide by negative, you get negative 3. Oh, I like that. Next one, fractions. What? Yes, we're going to do fractions. All right, so here we go. We got ends on both sides. It needs to be balanced. So I'm going to do the addition property of equality this time. I'm going to add 4/5 of n to both sides. Plus 4/5 n plus 4/5 of n. All right, if I've got 3/5 and I add 4/5, how many fifths will I have? I'll have 7/5. Minus 8 equals 13. Amazing. Next, we're going to add 8 to both sides. Use our addition property of equality. That leaves us with 7/5 of n equals 13 plus 8 is 21, last I heard. All right, now we've got 7/5 times n. Remember, we can use the multiplicative inverse, which means that we can multiply by 5 over 7. Why? We can multiply by 5 over 7 because this one is dividing by 5, so now I'm going to multiply by 5. And it's multiplying by 7, so I'm going to divide by 7 because those are the inverse operations. I'll do it on this side as well. Multiply by 5 because I was dividing by 5. Divide by 7 because I was multiplying by 7. Inverse operations. Okay, so the 7s will reduce each other, the 5s will reduce each other, and I'm left with an n on that side. Now we can do this in 2 steps if you like. 21 times 5 is 105. And then we're going to divide by the 7. We multiply by the 5, we divide by 7. That's what a fraction means. Okay, so 7 does go in there once. So 7 goes into 10 one time with 3 left over. and 7 goes into 35 5 times. My answer is 15. Could you have divided by 7 first? Of course you could have. If you take 21 and divide by 7, you get 3, and then you would multiply by 5, and you still get 15. Tricky. All right, last one. You're going to like this one. This one's going to make you proud to be an American. You're going to want to sing God Bless the USA after this one. All right, so we're going to subtract 5p from both sides. Negative 1p, negative 5p, that gives us negative 6p's. We get negative 16 right here. Okay, I'm going to subtract 18 from both sides because I'm a good person. I get negative 6p equals, the 18s have canceled. Over here, I got a negative and a negative, so I add the numbers and keep the negative sign. That's negative 34. I will divide by negative 6. 6 does not go into 34. But I do know that a negative divided by a negative is a positive, so I'm going to write p equals positive 34 over 6. And now I'm going to look to see if I can at least reduce it a little bit. Let's see. They're both even numbers. Oh, so 2 must go into both of those. So let's divide the top and the bottom by 2 to reduce this. So we would get p, oh, wrong color. So sorry. So embarrassed. Sorry about that. 34 divided by 2, 17 all day long. And then 6 divided by 2 is 3. There's our final answer, 17 over 3. All right, that's all I got for you. Math hard. See you later. Bye.